All right. I want to introduce Loren. She's had my Distance Lymphatic Healing Sessions. She's had a few of them, and I'd like her to explain her story. Loren, why don't you tell people what was going on with your life?
When I reached out to you, I was in the US Virgin Islands and there where I live like half the year. And there, as of my knowledge, it's a small island. There aren't many therapists there. And there, as of right now, is not like a dedicated trained lymphatic therapist. And I really could tell that my system needed lymph work. I am a manual therapist myself, and I practice lymphatic drainage. It's part of my work, part of my practice. And currently, I am 55, I'm perimenopausal, and just after months in the heat in St. Thomas, probably some increased stress that I was there. I could just feel that my system was very sluggish. And I really was like craving that mobility of my lymph system. I knew it would have made me feel a lot better hormonally. And I have a good friend who's also a lymphatic therapist. She lives in New Jersey, and she has taken maybe some of your courses. She's the one that let me know about it. And so I have watched you here and there on Instagram, and it popped up one day on Instagram, and you were offering a 5-pack special for distance lymphatic work. And I've never experienced distance lymphatic work. I have experienced distance energy work. I'm very sensitive. I know my lymphatic system very well. And I figured, let me give it a try because I'm not going to get anything here. And let's see how it goes. So I started my first treatment with you there.
Yeah, and that's important. We need to take care of our lymphatic system, especially when we are perimenopausal, because we know that women who have a lot of problems with menopause, when they're trapped in it, it's about cellular waste. And that to us, we know, because you're a lymphatic therapist, we've had similar training actually, that the lymphatic system is key to get rid of this waste that's really affecting us. How did you feel with the session?
It's interesting. I've had 5 now. And the first thing that I would say that is really kind of central to all of the treatments that I've had with you are a huge downregulation of my nervous system. Like I really go into deep parasympathetic, even so much so on the first one that I fell asleep and I really didn't hear the rest of the treatment. The treatment ended and I was almost a little confused because I was so deep. And you sent me the recording post-treatment. And I heard you at the end of the treatment talking to me in the recording, but I was so deep in a rested state that, and I've used the recordings again to, they're supportive. So the first treatment, I think what I remember primarily about the first treatment was that I detoxed a lot after that treatment. And so in some ways, afterwards, there were a few days that were uncomfortable because I was detoxing. And then my system got flowing more, but I really needed to hydrate a lot and help keep moving that cellular waste out.
So
And then,
even though it was an energetic session, it really moved waste out of your body. You felt it.
yes, and I feel that every time. And I don't, I'll be honest, I don't fully understand the mechanism of that because I am a manual therapist, but you energetically are able to connect with the lymphatic system and the nervous system, and I feel that movement in my system.
Wonderful. It really, the lymph system is everywhere in our nerves and our muscles. So we feel it throughout our body. When I'm working with the lymph, when you get a lymphatic drainage from a therapist, it's more superficial. When I work energetically, I'm working right through the body, into the organs, into the bones, and then it really makes a big difference.
I think I'm very sensitive. At first, when I started it, again, I began like a sort of an uncomfortable process of detox, but I've done a good bit of detoxification in my life. But I feel like I've just crossed over right now, and I'm starting to feel like I have more available energy.
And that's the whole thing. When our lymph system is a little bit congested, we're not going to have that energy because the cells become a little bit acidic. What would you say to people who might be sitting on the fence? What would you say to somebody who's thinking about trying this?
I would say try it. Make a time where you can be quiet and plan your days so that you can integrate afterwards. And it's really quite easy. I love the fact that I don't have to leave my house, and I plan it on days where I know I'm not going to work afterwards. I'm not going to run around, but I really feel my system calm down a lot, and it's been very supportive.
When you have the first session was normally the first session is always the worst because we're releasing all that waste. The other ones you felt it, but were they as bad as the first one?
No, no, the first one was definitely, and I think I was in my most congested state when I saw you for the first one. No, I feel like each one, I feel the effects after each one, but
Yeah.
they're not uncomfortable like they
And
were.
that is true because most people, when they contact me, they're pretty toxic,
Right.
right? They're trying something different because they don't feel well. And that's why, even though I'm gentle, normally the first session, they still have a little bit of a detox reaction. If they're very sensitive, then I will really do a really gentle session where we just open them up a little bit. Because my goal is not to make people sick. My goal is to get the system moving so the cells can actually start working better. But we are very toxic and we do feel it. All right, Loren, I appreciate you getting on with me, and I'm glad my work is benefiting you. One last time, people, if they were on the fence, they should be calling me, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm signing up for another 5-pack. So I look forward to continuing to work with you. I see it as just part of a really important part of healing and health. And lymphatic drainage in the scheme of like manual therapy, it's really pretty new. And I know there are different schools of lymphatic drainage. I really resonate with, I believe, the school you came from and that I come from, even though your approach is different. Really trained therapists are still a bit hard to find, especially in smaller areas. Like I live in the Virgin Islands. I live in not a large city in Oregon. And so it's really important to keep it as part of my health regime. It's essential.
Right. We need to maintain our lymphatic system. Hello. NIH found disease begins with lymphatic dysfunction. So it's something we have to maintain. And you're right. It's very hard to find therapists. You call massage places and you want even a lymphatic massage. They say, oh, I can get that in a week for you. You can't get it that day. But I can work with you in your home. You don't have to leave no matter where you are in the world. I can make a difference in your life. All right,
Well,
Loren, thank you very much. I look forward to our future sessions. Thank you.
all right. Thank you so much, John.
All right, bye.